plot device, you know what I mean, to keep the story functioning and original, because you can go on so many different ways with that, and visually, and I really liked what they did too.
I like that, and
the quicksand.
Oh, the quicksand is crazy. Yeah, I like it. He falls into the quicksand, and he takes off his backpack, and he's trying to slowly get out, and then he turns around and he sees his the little notebook, the Jewish one, and it's just like kind of sitting there on top of the quicksand, and he's like, oh, he has to get it because that's his his family heirloom, and good luck. And he turns around and he tries to reach for it, and he starts to sink more. He's like, nope, turn around. He's like, sorry, but I have to live. And then I think he has another hallucination in that point where I think he's in like Vegas or something, and he wakes up and he's stopped sinking, and then he sees a little branch or a little leaf that's kind of hanging in front of him, and he reaches that and he starts pulling it. And I started busting for some reason when he grabs the branch and he's pulling. He's like, "Don't you fucking break!" And then that little branch saves his life, which is he could have almost died a couple of times in that movie. Yeah. Or in this story.
We're forgetting that the big parasite scene.
Oh, man. When he has the bump on his head and he pushes it and he's like, oh, great, it moves. And I think he thought it was just like a bump or something he had gotten probably in the rapids or something. And then why does he... he cuts it open. Do you remember why he starts cutting it open, or just because it's getting bigger?
I think, I think he just wanted to drain it.
Yeah.
And he ends up taking it out. I'm assuming because he smacks his head while he's going down the rapids.
Yeah.
And in a lot of that water, if you have some
open wounds or cuts or something,
cuts exposed, there's parasites that'll swim in, and I'm assuming that's what happened to him.
Yeah. Yeah, that scene was gnarly.
It was. It's a key scene in the film, I think.
Yeah.
To really grounds you in like, oh, he's out here on his own. And he's really trying to not get sick.
Yeah. And that's crazy when he pulls it out. Like when he first cuts it, and then you can see he's trying to pull something out with his tweezers that he has that he poked the hole with, and he you can see in the hole something move. And then at that point, I'm like, oh shit, something's inside of his head. Like, fuck. And then he actually cuts it open, and then you can see him digging in it with his hand. And then he pulls it out, and it's nasty, a parasite or a leech or whatever it is. And then he starts draining it, which is gross, too.
Yeah. It is.
But like I said, I don't think I would have been able to survive that. I think I would have... if that would have happened to me, I'd be like, nope, that's enough. I'm just going to lay here and die.
Good answer.
Yeah. For you, I actually have a question.
Okay, yeah.
The tribal girl that he runs into, were you surprised at all at the ending of that, of when he comes to realize that she's not real? Or did you think, oh, he ran into someone from a tribe or something?
When they do the reveal that he was just hallucinating, it did catch me off guard.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wasn't surprised because of the state of mind he was in. I was like, oh, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
To kind of as a twist, you know what I mean? But yeah. How that's kind of sad that he was like, you know what I mean? Because I feel like your mind starts creating these things,
illusions to help you cope with what's going on.
Illusions of grandeur, where you're like, oh, this sucks, but at least I have this.
Yeah.
And it was like he was using her for warmth, and she was like, warming up to him, and then it was just like, oh, psych, and
she wasn't real at all. You were in the Matrix.
Pretty wild.
At that point when he's like, come lay down with me, we'll stay warm together, and he's like rubbing her shoulder, and he's like, it's okay, just go to sleep. And then the camera's on him, on his face, and then it kind of pans out, and you see that he's just rubbing the ground. Mm-hmm. And at that, when I saw that, it's like the same reaction that you had. It was like, oh shit, like she was fake the whole time, and he was over here arguing with her, and because he at one point I think he goes and he picks up a pineapple that's like rotted, and he starts eating it, and then she's telling him not to eat it, and he's like, they're arguing, he's like, you need to eat. And but yeah, it's crazy that he wakes up and then there's nothing there, and he's just like, he's kind of just like, okay, like she was never real. Mm-hmm. And you can kind of see the defeat on his face when he's just like what am I doing? And I mean, that's a crazy scene to me.
It is.
Yeah. One of the scenes I really did like was the flamethrower with the Jaguar.
Oh yeah.
When the Jaguar is
he uses
he uses bug spray or something, and the lighter that he had. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was crazy. That was an awesome scene, and the Jaguar looked pretty real.
Yeah. I'd have to agree. If what would he have done if he hadn't had his supplies?
Yeah.
Ugh. Terrible. That's a good callback to what Carl tells them. Mm-hmm. Once they get to a certain part, he's like, since there's monkeys, that means that there's jaguars.
Yeah.
And to jaguars, we're just big stupid monkeys.
Yeah.
And so later on, he has to fight with one. And so I thought that was a really cool tie-in with the dialogue there,
Yeah.
But I actually have a super cool interview
nice.
with Radcliffe about what he went through to prepare for the role, or while he was doing it, and kind of the making of the film and his thoughts on it. If you want to check it out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. Here we go.
Goodness me, and how you suffered for this film.
I'm very careful about talking about that in terms of this film, just because this is a true story, and it's somebody's life. So, like, the worst day we had on set, we still got to go back to a hotel at night and things. But yeah, I mean, that particular scene was, just, there's not a very great deal of acting going on there. I'm just, like, shouting, trying to remember the lines, just clinging on for dear life. Yeah, no, it was tough, but I think when you go into a film like this that is called Jungle and is about somebody surviving in the jungle, you have to kind of want to do those bits. Like, you have to, like, kind of embrace how bits of it are going to be.
It's got to look real.
Yeah.
It's got to look real. And you've got to do justice to his story.
Right.
Because this is a real character.
Yeah, exactly.
And was that why you wanted to do it? Because of all of that?
It was definitely one of those stories that you hear and go, wow, this should be more widely known. It's such an incredible story of survival, and it's comparatively very recent.
Is it true you just ate a hard-boiled egg a day?
No, I don't know where this has come from. I've been doing interviews for only a few days on this. It seems like, and suddenly already there's this mad rumour about me eating one egg a day.
Because you couldn't.
No, I mean, I had a fillet of like white fish or like a chicken breast and a protein bar a day for like the 2 weeks before the scene, and then
that's all you had.
Yeah, and then for the scene, and then for the scenes where I was like supposed to be very, very thin, I didn't eat for 2 days. It is not a healthy thing to do. No. I don't advise anyone to do this. This is not the way to lose weight healthily, because I was doing it for a short period of time. It was kind of okay, but yeah, it was worth it though for the meal that I got after I stopped.
That's a good attitude.
Yeah, it was
I like that attitude.
Really great.
But the thing is, though, Daniel, you could have, the way that movies are now, they can do all sorts of things, and they could have done CGI and whatever, but you chose to make it real, to actually make it real, and I do think it makes a difference.
Thank you. I mean, I'm not a method actor at all. I really I'm not in any way, but it felt like I would be making my job harder and somehow not doing justice to this guy's story if I was going home and having like a massive steak dinner every night and just living very comfortably and looking really well fed at the end of the movie. That didn't seem like it would ring true. So yeah, it was something. Nobody really asked me to do it. It was kind of self-inflicted, but yeah, it was. I think it was worth it for the end of the film.
You looked really terrible.
Thank you. Yeah, no, thank you. I take that as
you really did at the end. I mean, it was actually heartbreaking. We don't want to give too much away, but when you saw you at the end, it's just, oh my goodness, you can't imagine that you're still actually alive.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, it is when you think about Yoss. There's actually some things that we had to pull back from the reality of. There are some things in the film that Yossi does to survive, which include, obviously it's early, people are probably having breakfast, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but he has to, there are parasites on him, and he has to deal with them, and we show one moment of that. In reality, there was about 20 of them that he had to do that with, so we thought we'll spare the audience 19 of them. But yeah, though it's an amazing story. As you said, there's also Yossi's book about his experience is what the film is largely based on, and yeah, the detail in that. If you really want to go into the graphic detail of what happened, you can get that. There's Yossi.
There he is. Now, did he? Because obviously it's really important what he thought. Was he happy?
Yeah,
the end product.
He would have been well within his rights to be on set, being like, I didn't do it like that, or but he was really supportive of the whole process and understand it's a movie and we're going to have to cut things out or make things slightly different, which we didn't. Again, it's a very, very faithful adaptation of the true story. But yeah, he was really, really excited that we were making the film, and he was on set for most of it, and he was also very helpful with helping me with my Israeli accent and pronunciation of Hebrew.
Of course,
I don't have a huge amount of background in.
You would need that.
Yeah.
You absolutely would.
Yeah,
I bet your girlfriend was glad when you started eating properly again.
She was very happy.
Yes.
Yeah, she was a little worried about me. A lot of people were slightly concerned about me for just a while, because it took me a while. It took me a while to get back to eating properly afterwards, because it does mess with your head a bit. But yeah, everyone was just very happy. In fact, I read an article that had been written. I'd been interviewed at the time, and the first thing the article opens with is Daniel Radcliffe looks terrible. I was like, wait, what is this? That's a bit blunt. And then I realised, she's talking about Jungle.
So it's fine. It's okay. You don't mind that. You absolutely don't mind that. And absolutely light years from the whole Harry Potter thing. And the thing about you is you've chosen really interesting roles after that. You can get more different, and I think that's great.
I think that's the way I have the most fun doing my job, is by trying to find as many different things as possible. And I've been lucky that people have given me the opportunities to do those things. And I'm just, I was just saying to Andy, I feel lucky every day to get to do the job that I get to do, and it really, I don't think I'll ever lose that. I really don't. I feel, and because I see people on set sometimes who don't appreciate it or aren't behaving in a way that I would be like, dude, you're lucky to be here.
Do you know what? Good for you, because I think that's so important.
Yeah.
I think if you're in a job like that, you are incredibly lucky, and you should, you should realise it.
I think,
and not be a horrible old diva, which you would never be.
I would not. No,
absolutely not. Never have been and never would be.
I hope not. Yeah, and if there is, I'm pretty sure. I've got a group of people around me who would slap that at me very quickly.
You've got good pals.
Yeah. Not literally, but they would
tell you to shush, and that's really important.
All right, there we go.
That was a cool interview.
Yeah, it was pretty enlightening, right?
Yeah,
I think.
I think that's cool that the actual Yossi
was on set.
He was on set and saying this is awesome. I'm glad that he was able, or they let him be a part of it. This is his story, but I'm pretty sure there are actual true story movies that the people who the stories revolved around weren't allowed to be a part of, or a lot of things were changed. And like he says, it was pretty much what actually happened. And they had they take some things out that were too gruesome, and time but everything is relatively what happened in the movie is what happened to Yossi and to all four of them.
Especially having him on set for most of it to corroborate everything that was being filmed as pretty much the truth.
Yeah,
or even just for his input. That's so cool, you know what I mean? Because who better to have for references? You should do it like this, or it happened like this, or you should change it this way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's really cool that they did that.
There's one scene that I know I wouldn't have been able to do, was when he finds the egg on the ground.
Oh, yes.
And he cracks it open, and it's an unborn bird.
Yeah.
It's a bird fetus, and he looks at it and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then he eats it, and you can hear crunching in his mouth, and I'm just like, "Oh, fuck!" I know, no disrespect to if anyone that's listening, I know people do eat. I think it's called balut or balut,
Uh-huh.
and they have like you can buy the eggs at grocery stores, and you can take them home and
it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing, and they eat it like that. But I could not do that. There's no way I couldn't. It's like one of those things on Fear Factor. When you see like, oh, I would never be able to do that challenge or whatever. Yeah. And it's like I couldn't do that. That was too gross.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Because I'm very put off by texture.
Yeah, I'm sure it was really slimy and